Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Give me a sound check, mic check, boom check, every check you can possibly give me. I'm going to give you the charts in just 1 second. Give me just 1 sec. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just me today. Kay is actually in Dubai. So I'm going to do the macro with you today. And we're going to switch to the macro charts in just a minute. I'm just actually trying to pull up the Forex Factory data set because I want to walk you through the calendar a little bit here. Give me just 1 sec. We're going to go here. We're going to go this week. And I want to see this apply settings. Okay. And let you guys see the whole thing. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's the name of that tune? It's an AI tune that we made. It's called Fun the Rocks, actually that I made. And I know I've been saying I'm going to publish everything on the Spotify list, but actually this week Kay is gone, so I'm going to have a little time. So I will be able to try to get this done. I'm going to try to publish all of our songs on the Spotify list and get it out there for you guys, and then you guys can have a whole playlist to this thing. And then I'm going to try to make a like a YouTube playlist video, and we'll post it on our website as well. Okay. Oh, so it's tougher to wake up without Kathy. I know she's a little bit easier on the eyes than me. That's for sure. I totally get it. I am wearing my Pass the Prop cap though. In your honor, hope everybody's doing well. I'm gonna have a lot to say. We had an amazing show on Friday. A lot of people showed up with our friend Sam Saleh from Ola. He opened our eyes to, I think, some very interesting tricks of the trade, which I'm going to share with everybody a little bit later. I hope everybody enjoys it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Where's everybody coming from today? Where's everybody coming to the show from today? Give me some exotic places, like I don't know, Spokane, Washington, Switzerland, South Africa. Is that South Africa? Yeah, it sounds like that looks like a South African flag. Cold New Jersey, man. You have no idea of the coldness that is hitting us here in the Northeast. Yesterday, in the morning, it was 1 Fahrenheit, which I don't even know what the hell. What is 1 Fahrenheit? I guess like minus 20 Celsius. It was really cold. So yeah. And Brisbane is blazing, right? Brisbane is blazing right now. Brisbane reminds me of like Miami. I landed there for like 10 seconds and I was like, Jesus Christ, it's exactly like Miami. Yeah. And Paris, bienvenue, Dominique. Where are you in Paris? Quel arrondissement? Nigeria, nice to have you. Nice to have you. Welcome, Rachel. Yeah, 35 degrees Celsius. I know, man. I tell you, I would trade Brisbane for New York anytime today. And Bangkok, nice to have you. Wow, we're really getting a very international crowd. So it's definitely, I'm going to show you some very cool stuff today. Kay is away. So I'm going to show you some FX stuff that you could use against the stuff that we usually scalp with, which is really cool. Yeah, it's humid as hell. I know. I actually, that's my kind of weather. I mean, I'm a person who loves to go to Miami in the summertime. Like I like it what's called 90-90, where it's 90 degrees, 90% humidity, and the water is 90 degrees warm. That is my perfect beached whale vacation. I could literally just float on the Miami shores like a beached whale for hours at that temperature. So yeah, you can imagine my love. It's 11 degrees Fahrenheit, which is warm today. I know. Brisbane is great. And Brisbane is really popping, man. I was like, I never even heard of Brisbane until I kind of landed there, and I'm like, Jesus, this is like a major city in Australia. They really and the economy seems to be really booming. There is a question: is Bluey from Brisbane? Like, did they is the like the studio that invented Bluey comes from Brisbane? Because that was one of the things that like struck me when I landed there. They had like a Bluey thing on there. My mom and my daughter, who's 14, still loves Bluey. In case you guys don't know, it's a kid's cartoon. I should go to Houston. Yeah, I've been to Houston. I've been to Houston. It's fun. I generally want to go back to Texas. I have like so many friends in Austin. I really like Texas is just really calling me these days. Ah, yeah, no, but for some reason I thought maybe it was Brisbane based. Anyways, guys, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're looking at the calendar, and really the calendar is just like all US, right? I mean, we got three things. As a matter of fact, we're gonna trade Wednesday. We're gonna trade Friday. I mean, like 8 o'clock trade, our macro trades. We're gonna try and do single trade funding both days. Apex is, by the way, back up to 80% discount, I believe. So go out there and nail those accounts in case you haven't. It's going to give us a really, really good opportunity. They still don't, they still shut gold down. Everybody shut gold down, but Apex shut gold down on the MGCs as well. So we are basically left with trading NQs, which in a way is a blessing in disguise. I got to tell you, what a nice low volatility trade it's been. And with Sam showing me some tricks of the trade on Friday, I just been killing it overnight. Just all green across my whole screen, 18 accounts. And I'll explain to you what I do on the scalping side in just a bit. But let's talk about macro, because the calendar is active, but in just very, very few hotspots. And the primary hotspot is, of course, US. Sorry, I actually changed that. We're going to trade live macro Tuesday, meaning 8 o'clock Tuesday, 8 o'clock Wednesday, 8 o'clock Friday. That's what I meant, because all those 3 days, as you can see, if we take my trusty Boomer magnifying glass, where's my magnifying glass? There we go. This is all US-based data. So tomorrow we have core retail sales, not a super big one, but big enough that I think is viable to trade. Of course, Wednesday we have the NFPs, which is there because of the quasi-government shutdown. I don't know how much they're going to have an impact. I think the key thing here is just so it doesn't get super negative, right? Like, if they print negative, it's going to be very, very bad news. One of the things that absolutely concerned me, and I've been a very, very big bull, but one of the things that just perked my ears up and really, really made me wary of forward data was the JOLTS number. The JOLTS number is the job openings listing number. That had a massive drop last week from like 7.3 expected to 6.4 actual. It's a bullshit number anyways, but the very fact that it kind of went negative that bad suggests that, I really do think that there's a massive job freeze all across US corporations, not necessarily because demand is bad. Demand, I think, is fine all across the economic landscape. It's much more a factor of much more the idea that I think AI is really starting to cut into basic opening, white collar, lower level jobs. And there was a massive sort of concentration to spend on capital rather than labor. So I think it's worth watching here. We'll have to see. There's clearly a lot of jobs in the economy that cannot be AI. One of them, of course, healthcare is one of them. But we'll have to see if that's going to be an interesting factor or input into the idea. The only other red jacket data set is going to be the UK GDP on Thursday, 2 a.m. our time. Looking for a flat print. UK data has just been sort of oscillating too. It's actually a surprise to the upsides quite a lot, because recently, the basic idea has been that UK has just been a complete dumpster, but it has actually recovered a little bit. So we'll have to see if the GDP prints a little bit better. But generally, all of Europe is still lagging everything that's going on. Australia was the only country that raised interest rates last week. Now that's very interesting because, again, it wasn't done as a point of strength, but as a point of weakness in the way people sort of are looking at it, because their budget deficits are ballooning. I mean, you can't run a communist country. Australia is a communist country at this point, for all intents and purposes, and communism always fails. So I think it's, until Australia changes its government and becomes a much more centrist government, the spending is going to be out of control, and it's going to be very, very negative, I think, long term for the economy. They may get rescued by resource demand, but I don't think so. I mean, I think the whole point of AI in many ways, I think, is yes, there's a huge demand for energy resources, but all other resources get completely rationalized because it's so much more efficient. And the kind of energy resources that AI demands are not necessarily the kind of stuff that Australia is going to be exporting a lot of. So anyways, we'll have to see. I wonder if the Australians agree with me that Australia now is a communist country for all intents and purposes, but I really do think so. Anyways, the other red jacket is going to be Swiss CPI on Friday. Again, that's nothing. I mean, the Swiss have been negative rates, negative CPI. I don't think it's going to have any kind of significant impact over there. And the final print, which is really, really big, is going to be inflation. Inflation has been relatively under control. Certainly, oil has been really, really under control, and housing costs have really come down. Those are two of the major inputs to inflation. So we'll have to see, where the numbers are. If we get a relatively decent employment and a relatively muted inflation, that should be very positive stocks. Yeah, the Australians seem to agree with me. Yeah. Look at that. I was right. The animated Sears Blue originally from Brisbane, Australia. By Brisbane local Joe Brum. Right. There we go. Very, very smart show, by the way. Very smart show for little kids. Anyways, it's really all U.S. That's pretty much the only thing that's on the plate. And that's going to be important because some of the data is late, some of the data is dated, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to give us a window. The critical thing to sort of understand is, I think 50K in employment is enough to keep the engine going, right? I mean, the big thing here is both psychologically and financially. How much data do you need just to keep the machine going forward? It doesn't necessarily have to run, but just move forward. You obviously need, I think, like 50K job growth to just keep things stationary. Because once the job growth starts to contract, income becomes contracting. That's all very, very negative going forward, and the markets are going to start discounting that pretty badly. So. We're going to be watching that. And then, so the other impact on income, of course, is going to be CPI. So if you get this idea of like generally okay labor and generally muted inflation, overall, that's a very macro positive story. Probably, in my opinion, actually going to be a relatively macro positive story for the dollar. And speaking of dollar, let's take a look at the charts. I'm going to show you charts in a very interesting way today. So we're gonna switch away from our bread and butter futures, and we're gonna go to what happened to this? Why? Hold on a second. What the? Where is this? ACAP. Oh, I just added all these. So annoying. Sorry guys. I just added like all these symbols. Hold on. All right, I guess we'll just do it this way. That's fine. I had like added all these very carefully curated symbols, and they all went away. All right, let's look at sorry. Okay. Let's look at symbols this way. We're going to look at currencies. We're going to look at them through the prism of the dots indicator versus Kathy's zip indicator, but in a very, very cool fashion. I'm going to show you something really interesting. So this is the 1 hour chart. We're going to look at the euro dollar, right? Look at the euro dollar busting out, really, really popping out. And it's just a fresh way for you guys to find maybe trade ideas or trade possibilities aside from zip. Of course, you guys know very well zip, and Kathy teaches it really well. And I'm going to put up the let me just put the link in here. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the Japanese inflation for sure. Hang on a second. Let me just put in the right. I'm going to put in the link to our coaching, which is really actually, I call it my coaching, but it's actually 2 for 1. You get Kathy's coaching as well. The point being is that you get Zip and BFF all at once. And today I wanted to kind of open up your eyes. I mean, you guys are always looking at charts on a Zip viewing basis, on a 1 hour basis, because that's how Kathy trades it. Here's an interesting way of looking at euro dollar, and we'll go through all the currencies using BFF, which has sessions built into it. You see how, see how we're popping through sessions? It shows you Asia, London, New York, right? And there are some very interesting things that you can find when you kind of subdividing the trades by sessions. The basic idea is that when New York breaks out London, or when London takes out Asia, right? More importantly, let's just go step by step. Here you have Asia, right? And here you have London on an hourly basis, right? Closing above Asia. Everybody sees this with me? Give me a yes if you guys see this. Let me put this up here. See this candle over here? This is euro dollar. This is Friday. Friday, it breaks out and closes above the Asia session. That's a really, really good signal for continuity, right? Similarly, look at Asia. Here we have Asia, right? Asia highs, and then London instantaneously takes out, not instantaneously, but in 2 hours, takes out the Asia highs. More importantly, the trade that I absolutely love, because this is sort of a riff on the scalps that we do. Green dot taking out, Asia highs, holding them. More importantly, holding them above. So if you were long Europe at this time, this is like 4 o'clock in the morning. This is the European Open. Euro opens up 1863, right? You put a stop at 1847, a very reasonable. That's actually a 20-point, pip stop. That's what Kathy likes to do. She puts up 30 points pip stops and try to manage it for 15 forward and maybe another 15, 30 forward after that. You had a very nice run here, really nice clean run for 30, 40 pips in the euro dollar off the Asia, off the session breaks. Now, sometimes you don't have a lot of continuity, but here's the thing that's important. Remember, the break of the session high, session low isn't the key thing. The key thing is the hold of, in other words, here's a good example of the short side where we actually hold the session low, session high. This is New York breaking the London session low. In the first candle doesn't hold it, so you don't do anything here. The second one gives you confirmation. Yes, it does hold it. You can use, the candle high as your stop, and it takes a long time. It's a very, very tedious trade. You could probably, I would maybe taken one and averaged in it at around 20, 30 pips in. But if you're relatively, control your size, have your key stops and targets, you absolutely have continuity into the trade. And using session highs, session lows, which are naturally produced for you on the dots indicator, as well as using dots as a confirmatory measure, could be a really interesting intraday swing trade or day trade. That's really the proper definition is we scalp. Kathy effectively day trades, right? It's a really interesting day trade structure that all of you guys can put on if you're members of BK Coaching. So I just wanted to put that out there as kind of a fresh idea, fresh possibility for you guys to generate cool trades in FX. So given that, let's take a look at where the FX stands. So euro breaking through on the hourly, 8 above 200. So it's clearly positive trend. Yen coming down, right? Dollar is a little bit weak against the yen. Fresh inflation. Look at this. And as a matter of fact, what do we have here right now? We're looking. As I speak, the London session, which the New York session now is opening up, but the London session closed below Asia session lows. Right. This is a sell. Right. Let's see how smart I am. But we're 156 short against the 156.50. Probably you have to be like around 56.55 stop. And, you target, the first target would be like 155.70, right? So it's already, kind of like in the trade. Second target would be 155.50. That would be my structure on these trades. And certainly gives us ample reason to do so. Dollar Swiss also, dollar just breaking all the lows. I mean, London, dollar weak against the Swissy from London Open. So being short here would have been a great trade. This is just more continuity, but it's obviously getting a little. The New York session, we just broke fresh New York session lows. How much more further we're going to go? Hard to say, but maybe it's good, for another maybe 10, 15 pips down. So 76.88, maybe 76.70, somewhere around there on the downside. Dollar CAD, is dollar CAD weak against the caddy? Yes. I mean, dollar is weak across the board. And the thing that you can see is it's making holding session lows, not making session lows, but holding session lows all across. So, I mean, dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, these are all pretty clear signals of dollar weakness into the opening New York trade, right? And that's interesting. And, that signals that there's some possibility for continuity here as we go forward. Aussie dollar looking, breaking out to fresh highs here. It already clearly, this is the London session. London broke Australia, pretty much broke Asia on this candle over here. This candle closed at 48. That would have been your entry. It already, it's up to 60. It's about 12 pips up higher. Could be, could see a little bit higher further on. So yeah, the basic idea is that dollar is weak across the board, with euro breaking out to fresh highs. Where's my pound? We didn't look at the pound. Pound is actually on a relative basis. It's another interesting thing. On a relative basis, you can see the pound is the weakest, right? So if you're trading this, it's kind of interesting. I'm just wondering, how's pound yen? Where's my pound yen? I have pound yen here. Where's my pound yen? See, pound sort of took out Asia session highs, but hasn't really broken London highs. So on a relative basis, pound is kind of weak. What that means is you could try to trade this by being long euro pound, which is here, right? And that's pretty clear. Look at that. Euro pound is 45, 50 minutes left. But if euro pound holds this high at 87.32, I mean, euro pound doesn't move much. It's maybe a 10 pip trade, but worth a shot, right? Worth a shot on the long side. Actually, what I wanted to add, why don't I have pound yen here? Let me see if I have a pound yen. It's annoying because I have to log out of Tradeovate. Hold on. Let me try and do this. All right, here's pound yen. So we said that the pound is kind of weak, right? Look at what's going on with pound yen. Pound yen right now breaking session lows in London. The New York is basically holding the London session low. 49 minutes left. We can come back to this at 10 o'clock. If this kind of holds, you might have some continuity all the way down maybe towards the Asia session lows. So it's a really cool way. I just wanted to show you a different way to look at FX and think through of what's going on. As I said, it's really a U.S. data-centric week this week. And we're going to be trading tomorrow and Wednesday and Friday, 8 o'clock every day in front of these news events to give ourselves some macro possibilities. And I'll, since Kay is away, I will be actually, we'll trade. I'll trade some FX ideas with you guys as well. Maybe even more so, because I think some of this stuff may affect FX more than anything else, and certainly gold as far as those ideas for everybody who wants to do that. So be sure to come back and join us. We're going to do, full. It's going to be U.S. macro week. That's what it's going to be. We're going to trade all of these things to our heart's content. So the only other thing I wanted to look at here, actually two things. We don't look a lot at this a lot, and it's definitely worth doing it. First, we're going to look at gold. So again, I want to just kind of look at gold on a longer term basis here, using 1 hour charts, not necessarily because we're stymied from scalping it. Those of you guys on the CFD front could trade this on a more longer term basis. Gold is, frankly, stuck. But gold could be a really interesting trade on the U.S. macro data. So we'll have to see. Retail sales tomorrow, not necessarily so much, but maybe employment, and certainly CPI on Friday could have a big impact on gold as far as we go. Right now, it's pretty much charted where we're within the London session box, and we really didn't break the Asia session box. So gold is very contained. Nothing much to do, frankly, in gold. It's a boring trade, and that's cool. It shows you that there's nothing much to do here. I want to also kind of show you the limitations and the flexibility of this range-based trade. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of moves here in gold, especially because gold is notoriously difficult to trade, and why it's so important to I think be very, very flexible in the way that you're trading gold, right? So let's imagine we're here. We have London session, New York session closes, breaks, right? I'm short 88. The stop would be like around 57. It's a big, like these are big wide stops. You have to obviously trade small. So this is like a 60-point stop, and the first target should be like half your risk. So right here, you make half your risk. Maybe go to break even, or try to maybe go to break even and then try to milk the other part of risk over here, and you just close out the position. Right where it gets really challenging, and this is where I think you really need to be very flexible with this strategy. Is here is big drop at this is the 2100 hours. Gold just drops like a stone, 5,000 to like it's like a 200-point drop. This was I remember this was Wednesday. This was a crazy trade. The great thing about CFDs is that you can trade literally 0.01. You can trade super small size, right? So if you're entering here, let me just sort of show you on charts how I would do this. You're entering on the bottom here, right? This is a huge, your risk is massive. You have a 200-point risk over here. This is your risk, right? You can't just let this trade float. I mean, you could, but it's not, in my opinion, intelligent to do that. Because when you have this kind of a huge decline, you inevitably going to have retraces. But rarely, I mean, eventually, sometimes you could have a full recovery, and then you're screwed. Okay, so that's where you have to have size enough where it's not going to be detrimental to you. You have to do super small size. But if you're going to do super small size, then it's really intelligent to add at half. Oops, sorry guys, I just screwed up my chart here. Okay, sorry, you guys see me? Okay, you guys see the chart? I hit the wrong key. Okay, it's very, very intelligent to add at about halfway point to the retrace. You still, you're still going to feel a lot of heat. It's still going to go against you, but by being over here, you now have a blended position somewhere around here, and you're able to cover everything at your initial entry very intelligently. Yes, eventually it goes down, but that's a story for the next day, not the story for today. So this would be a 1-2, but only a 1-2 type of a structure, and cover here. We do this in scalping all the time. It's just that on a 1-hour chart, you can slow it down. You can actually see the dynamics. You can see the movement. Really, really helps you organize yourself and and get yourself fully engaged in the trade structure, right? So that's gold, and in my opinion, right now it's just a stall. There's nothing really going on. We don't even have any breakouts. Obviously, if you're looking on a longer term basis, this is the top. We've had a very impressive V-shaped recovery, but here it is. It's stalling at a lower high. So if you're a gold bear, you can say, my point is, I guess here's my sort of thought. If they break the London session low, then I think it's a good, like this 49.80 low. If they take it out today, that's probably going to be a really good trade to the downside, because it just means that they couldn't hold the highs and they're making a lower low. But until that happens, I wouldn't even trade gold. I wouldn't even bother at this point. Let me remove the drawings. The other thing that I wanted to look at that nobody's been looking at in a long time, and I can't find it. Where's my thing? Let me add it. I guess I want to find it on a CFD basis. It's is it oil? No. WTI. Yeah, I guess this one. Okay, I guess we'll just use this spot. The reason why I just wanted to show you is this has been a very, very choppy, non-directional trade. But Iran is percolating in the back of everybody's mind, right? Negotiations Friday, the Iranians were being hard-ass about it. I read a really, really good geopolitical analysis of the whole thing. I don't know if this is going to repeat the same way, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Basically, the guy said, listen, the problem with all these Arab leaders is, or Middle East leaders, because they're not Arab, they're Persians, is that they don't understand that when U.S. says don't fuck around, they mean it. Like, Saddam Hussein tried to fuck around with the U.S., he lost. Libya tried to fuck around, they lost. Iranians are trying to play tough. The U.S. is putting all those assets into the Middle East. I have a feeling that unless the Iranians capitulate, they're going to be pulverized. Now, if they get pulverized, oil definitely gets spiked higher. And this whole chop is really worth watching. Specifically, it's worth watching around the 65 level, right? That's the big breakout. Like if we have a huge candle that takes out 65 and holds 65, we're very likely going to go to 70. So while oil has been dead as an asset for a very long time, really worthwhile keeping an eye on it, to see it, because I think we can go from 0 to 100 very quickly if if the U.S. decides that these guys aren't being serious. So we'll see. Iran is always different from everybody else. We've been here 1,000 times. There's always a lot of saber rattling, but I do think that there is sort of a consensus here that no, they can't have any ballistic or nuclear capabilities. They need to be completely neutered. And if they're not, they're basically the single biggest enemy of the U.S. right now, which is not a place you want to be at. So we'll see. Oil as a proxy for all of this geopolitical risk, very much worth watching on a price basis. So that's sort of like the macro. I'm gonna open up the floor to questions. Anything else you guys want to look at? Any thoughts you have? Let me know. I will. Let's put this on. Oh, we hadn't really talked about crypto, because crypto has just completely collapsed, right? However, and this is a really, really cool. However, if you're trading crypto, this is a spike bottom, right? There's a spike bottom, which means that probably what you want to be start doing here is maybe we're going to make higher lows. But the point is, I think this double bottom is going to hold for the near term because it's just been so oversold that you kind of want to be looking at, session high breakouts as reversal trades. I think crypto now is more of a buy than it is a sell. There may be a few more, continuity buys to the bottom here, but I should, there's still $10,000 movement to the bottom, but that's a couple days work. But otherwise, I do think just technically it seems to have sort of sold out. Yeah, it's very choppy. Markets are kind of, very, very flat. So I'm going to leave it open for macro questions. Any thoughts? As I said, there's really three big events. We got retail, which is a medium event. We have NFPs, which are dated but still really important. And again, I think the make or break line there is the 50K. If we're below 50K in jobs, that's going to create a lot more waves through the marketplace. And then finally, the Friday CPI data. Again, is inflation under control or not? Going to be a big, big ask. If we get two positive data points, jobs above 50, CPI at 2, I think that's all systems go for equities to fresh highs. So, we'll see how that plays out, basically. All right. Should we come back to our favorite futures land and go to Apex and go to 1 minute chart and go to MNQs and bring in my new favorite little toy that we can all talk about. I'm going to kind of guide you through. So any more questions on macro? Any thoughts? Anything else you guys want to ask me? Happy to rock and roll with you. Also, by the way, let me sorry, I want to log in back into my Tradeovate accounts. Okay, cool. I want my 52s. 53. All right, we're going to do 53 as my next account. I basically, as you guys know, I have like 18 funded accounts. And what I prefer to do when I'm trading, this is absolutely everybody's personal decision, is I like to trade one account per trade and just rotate into the next one. So if I make a little bit of money, I go to the next one, go to the next one, to the next one, and then I come back to the account. What that does is it helps, first of all, distribute the reward, but more importantly, really distributes the risk. If I get clipped, let's say I lose, I don't know, $100 on a trade in one of the accounts, I don't stay in that account. So what that means is that for the rest of the day, the worst of this account is down is $100. How many times have you guys been in an account that started out as negative 100 and ended up as a negative 1,000 because you just try to beat it to death, trying to bring it back? And of course, you just made things worse and worse and worse because you get whipsawed, or the market is wrong, or you just, you're tilting, and so on and so forth. So my first line of defense is distribution of losses across 10, 12. Actually, how many accounts? I think I have 12 in here. We have 12 funded accounts, and I'm just trading them very slowly, one at a time for forward movement. And that's a good way to keep all of them alive, right? Somebody posted this week a clip of my friend Tim Bouchard, who talked about what is a good loss, right? And I was looking at that on Twitter, and I said to myself, there's only one good loss. I wonder if you guys, maybe some of you have saw that Twitter tweet, or maybe you haven't. Tell me, what do you think I think is the only good loss that you can take? Anybody have any ideas? I would have actually been a nice buyer on that candle. I'll show you a couple of tricks that we're going to start doing now. What do you think is a good loss? at least, in Boris, or at least for me, as I realized it. When you stuck to your rules, nah, that's all bullshit. We all stick to our rules. Falls within trading rules and parameters. Yeah. No. I mean, those are all legitimate answers. But actually, you know what? Let me stream all your comments so you guys can actually see what you're saying. No, you know what's a good loss, in my opinion? Especially when we're trading and we're scalping, the only good loss is when you don't increase your size after you take one. Because what is the 100% reason that everybody tilts? What's the 100% reason that we all tilt? What's the only reason we all tilt? Oh, Tony, that's funny. That's funny. I think Tony wins the internet today. That's funny. In case you guys don't understand what that is, I'll explain to you just 1 second. I understand, like, you guys are all giving me very nice conventional answers, but I'm trying to give you what I think is the only practical piece of advice that will help you, which is the only good loss in the market is one where you don't increase your size afterwards, right? Now, how hard is that? How many of us, the moment we get clipped, we're like, oh, I'm going triple size now. I'm going quadruple size, right? And by the way, that's bad even if you're at 1 micro. If you're at 1 micro, then you go 4 micros, you are 1 or 2 trades away from full blow up, because you go 1 micro, 4 micro, 2 minis, and you're done. And you're done, especially on a 25,000 account. Because I've been there 1,000 times, 1,000 fucking times. So if there's nothing I can just burn into your mind's eye today, it's that the only good loss is one where you don't increase the size afterwards. That's very hard. It's one of the reasons why it's much better to, you lose, move on to the next account, move on to the next account. And you can, I'll give you an example. I had, I had 11 out of 12 winning accounts on Friday, right? I had 1 negative account, right? Which I made worse by 16:30. Market on close. Oh, let me fuck around with that account a little bit more. So I took another $50 loss on that account. I then spent, and then I left it alone, right? Then I spent Sunday night just working on that account, and I brought that account back to positive, and again, doing what I told you, which is, I'd go 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards, but I wouldn't increase my size. 2 steps forward, just whittling it down. I was down like 150, like $30 wins, $30 wins. Very, very long way. But I bring it back up, and then I freed me up psychologically and financially to do the other ones, and then all the other accounts started working, and all those accounts started trading. Now I'll show you this. I will say that Sam Sally gave me a really super interesting turbocharged trick to help me make super successful, consecutively good scalps. But regardless, the most important part was don't increase the size after losses. What happens to me when I get 8 losers in a row? I never get 8 losers in a row. Robert. I rarely get 2 losers in a row, but that's because I'm trading with negative risk reward ratios, and I'm trading very small window sizes for very, very definitive, very clean trades. That's the whole point of scalping. The whole point of scalping is we're in the business of, as I said, we're not in the business of being on the buy or the sell side. We're just being in the business of being on the right side. So I don't know. To be honest with you, that's not, it's not anything I even think about. I don't have 3 winning losers in a row. If I'm doing it right, if I'm doing it wrong, if I'm just tilting and whipping, and 3, 4 losers, you burn the account, of course. But that's not how my game plan is supposed to go. All right, opening session, guys. Let's look. So here's what I want to show you. Here's where it gets really, really interesting. Our friend Sam Sally showed us the very, very special little indicator in TradingView. You obviously have to have futures. By the way, the easiest way, the cheapest way to have a CME subscription, so you can actually see the futures volume, is to have an Apex account. If you buy yourself an Apex account to trade, you get the CME subscription for free inside the account. So like people were saying, oh, you need to subscribe for $10 to CME. You don't need to do shit. You need to dick all if you just get an Apex account. It's super, super easy. So make sure you do that and you get the CME prescription, whatever, right? It's built in. But what's interesting is what this is a way to look at volume in addition to looking at price. And this is where I'm going to kind of show you a couple of tricks of the trade that I really, really like in terms of being able to trade. So we generally trade always only price, right? We trade session highs, session lows, closing highs, closing lows. So what should I don't think so, Robert. Robert, you can, if you want to make a Kalshi bet that I have 9 losers in a row, I'll take that bet 1,000,000 to 1, and you're going to lose. But it doesn't matter. Your opinion is your opinion. My trading is my facts. Everybody who trades with me, of course, knows how well the system performs because most of them are funded at this point. So I will leave that discussion for you guys to absorb. But what I want to do is I want to focus on execution. So what's interesting here is we're looking right now at the volume footprint. And the big philosophical question is, does volume drive price or does price drive volume, right? Sam came in with the assumption that volume drives price. I come with the assumption that price drives volume. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's really very often a chicken and egg situation. And it always, the answer is very much depends, right? It just depends. And where this is really, really valuable is where both price and volume confirm each other. So I'm going to try and find scalping opportunities for you guys where our price-based indicators and the footprint volume-based indicators connect, so you get a generally confirmatory structure that helps you, that gives you, high possibility of wins on a trade. So right now, frankly, right now it's just all chop city. When we're looking at volume footprint or our stuff, what do we see? We see session lows that have no continuity with the red dot, right? We have no red dot continuity. It's just, we're bouncing back up off session lows. And by the way, very, very shallow kind of session lows, right? And by the way, this is going to be session highs. So what I really actually am interested in looking at right now is, okay, I'm going to kind of explain to you dynamically as we run the trade. We got 45 seconds left on the trade. If this is a green dot against the session high, let's assume that, right? And then we switch over to the volume footprint. And the volume footprint is showing us triple digit deltas, meaning positive delta is in the hundreds. And ideally, honestly, the positive delta on the open here should be plus 500 or higher. If I get the green dot, session high, positive delta in the hundreds, see how the delta is changing? It's really not confirming my trade. Then I don't have a trade. I'm going to have the delta off. I have the indicator to the side. And I'm actually going to narrate this for you because I don't want to have both indicators on the same chart. It's kind of hard to see. You guys can keep it on the side and kind of follow with me. But right now, nothing is going on, right? We really don't have anything clean and clear as far as a tradable structure. The only thing we have from a price perspective is we do have this. We have red slope. We have a green dot, meaning, price pressure, price downward pressure, downwards, downward slope. And the actual delta here is actually really, really big. We're getting negative 1,000 deltas. So like this trade right here, I'm willing to take if the price stays. But so far the price now just kind of not staying. So I'm going to be watching this. If the price doesn't give me a red dot, no trade, regardless of what the delta is. And the delta's just came back. But when you have this confluence of price and volume that's working, then you can take the trade. It'll be easier for you to see it on a post-trade basis because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to narrate the goings on right now. Right now, I have positive price impulse. I have session highs. I have a green dot. I have 43 seconds. If this holds and the volume confirms to me, great. Right? The volume was positive 200 deltas. Now we're negative deltas. So nothing. And nothing is confirming to me, right? What we want is volume and price-based indicators to give us a nice, combination of confirmation. We have that. We're in good shape. What we have now is just basically chop city, which is perfect because we don't have signals. We're not doing anything. But using volume footprint as a confirmatory variable will really help you find, or not so much find, but will really help you scalp better. Scalp better. That's the key thing. So here we are. How much time do I have? 50 seconds left. Who knows? If this candle holds, bottom line is this candle holds. I have a green dot. I have session highs. Deltas are 795 positives. I want to be there. I want to be in this trade, but it's got to hold. If the green dot disappears, if the deltas disappear, I don't really have a trade. I need both things to really hold in a meaningfully positive way for me to want to make a trade. And you can see, the market's just sticking around, but we will play them. Where am I on 53s? Okay, we'll take this. 3, 2, 1. Deltas are 1,000. I'm long on this thing. Let's see if it just gives me any continuity here. And maybe not. We'll see. And it's done. So why did I go long this thing for it? And I only went for a 5-point scalp because, again, the market is so narrow right now that I don't even think you can get a 10-point move out of this thing. It's a very, very tight narrow, but it's got nice continuity. So we took the 10-point clip. Let me show you what I was looking at on the other part of my chart. You see how this delta was 1,300 to the positive, that the volume was confirming my price impulse. It didn't give me much, but it gave me enough to give me confidence that there should be some continuity, right? Now, this is a shitty market. In a really good market, this would have been probably a 20, 30-point move to the upside. But at least we have the combo of volume and price that does confirm our moves. So this was this is a big delta, moved up, and I was able to trade this. Now let's imagine I didn't get the price. My stop would be underneath here, and you can see there's a secondary delta that's really confirming me. I was actually, you could actually make the case now, 40 seconds left, that we should go long again, and we probably will. You see, as long as the delta is big, and the price is making fresh session highs, we should go. But if the price retreats like a turtle back below the dot, if the dot doesn't go, it doesn't matter to me what a delta is. If the dot can't hold it, I'm not trading it, right? So it's this combination of the two things that gives me confidence to want to trade this, on a continuity basis. Okay, we're going to see if we can do this one more time here. One more time on the move here. Delta's at obviously 2,000 positive, 5 to the good. I'm in there. I'm in and out. I'm just in and out. I'm taking 5s. I could be taking 10s, but I want to be just very, very. Here's the point. I don't need to take a lot to be able to just clip and clip and clip my my P&Ls. I want to be very accurate, right? And this gives me all the coordinations to be accurate. Now, how many of these continuity trades do I want to take? I generally want to take two is good. 3 is absolute maximum. So like, when I get 3 in a row, then the danger is that you're actually buying the top or selling the top. How do I set up the footprint in TradingView? I'm going to set this up for you right now. I'll show you. But you see how using volume as a confirmatory variable gives us confidence for the next 5, the next 10 points, which is what, like right now, I'm not taking this trade, but it actually wasn't just a shitty trade. I wouldn't have taken this. Here's, why I'm not taking this? Because watch the delta. Look at the delta. Doesn't matter if it worked. The delta went actually negative, right? I didn't have a confirmation on the move here. The delta went negative. Even though I had the dot, I had a negative delta. That's what I mean about paying attention to the volume as well as price. When you get 2 of them together, it's a beautiful thing. When you get one of them not confirming the other, you probably want to stay away. Even if the thing is working, you probably want to stay away, right? In this case, it's actually, no, it just went up. You would have made the 5, but you could have just as easily, reversed here. This already turns into the area of luck versus skill. So the volume really, really helps you, manage the skill. So you guys want to know, how do I set up the my footprint volume chart? It's very simple. First, you're going to go in TradingView and you choose the volume footprint. Now it's got to be a separate chart. You can't have this on the same chart as dots. I have dots on one tab or one screen, footprint on the other. That's the only way you can trade this meaningfully, because it's 2 separate, distinct pieces of information, and they got to be fed to you from two different tabs. Okay, so separate tab. Secondly, you're going to go in here into settings. That's my thing. And all I got to do is you're going to choose symbol, right? I keep everything here. I think by default. ATR strength, I really don't give a shit, because I'm not looking at these blocks. I'm not looking for anything more than just the actual summary info. I'm looking for the summary info on the table here. So I put the display as a cluster. You can put it as profile too if you wanted to. If you put this as let me see, you can put this as a profile like this. It becomes a volume profile display. Some people really like that. As a better display. I really don't give a shit, because the only thing I care about, I keep it incredibly simple, is I'm looking at the numbers on the bottom. Where are they? Are they confirming? Are they denying? Are they increasing? What you'd love to do is you want to see, big expanse in deltas and a big move in price at the same time. Then you're in good shape. Like right now, we have negative deltas, and where's the price? The price is just stalling. So there's, we have nothing to do. But hang on a second, guys. Guess who that is? Guess who that is? Guess who never has 9 losses in a row when they want to interrupt me? Guess who that is? My son. Correct. Chris says that if you search for volume data indicator, which is built in TradingView, it will show me the delta in a candlestick manner in the same chart instead of the footprint one. Interesting. Okay, I will. You mean like if we go into indicators? Let's try this. Maybe we can do that. What is it called? Volume data. Volume delta. Okay. Yeah, but it's showing it to me on the bottom. I mean, I guess it's okay. I mean, that's an easier way for us to look at it, right? But this is telling me total. I want to see deltas. Well, let me see if I can see deltas. I'm not interested in total. How do I configure this to? How do I configure the? Oh, here we go. This one? No. How's volume delta configured? All right, you know what? I'm not going to bother with this right now. We'll take a look at it later. I'll be honest with you. I kind of actually like having two tabs. It splits my attention correctly because I'm going to be looking at both things. But yeah, I mean, happy to take a look at that and put it on one chart if I want to, as far as trading goes. But doing it this way, you see how easy. Just clip it, clip it, clip it, clip it, clip it, clip it. Matter of fact, let's go to the 54 count now, and let's see if we can run that one. Because the name of the game is to move forward in your P&L in every one of your accounts. That's all I'm trying to do with you guys. And in a day like today, where there's really nothing to do, it's super, super quiet. All right. So again, we're back to session highs. Do I have a green dot? No. Do I have a price impulse? No. Can I get it? If I get a price impulse, do I have a delta confirm? Yes, I do. Delta right now is 1400 positive. So there is volume, but there's no price, right? Now you can get really, really cute, and you could start playing the game of if the price isn't confirming, but a delta is, maybe you want to fade these moves, or maybe you want to do something different. That's fun. It's nowhere near as accurate as having two things combined versus one be different. Okay, we actually have this trade buy. Oops. We got a big reversal. Holy shit. Was there news? No. What happened to me? Oh, it's actually interesting. I took the buy. What was this? This is the what happened to my 54 count? Watch this, guys. Sorry, this is super fast. And this is why, by the way, I scalped for just 5. Let me see if I can show you. I think I bought it. Yeah, look at this. I bought 26, sold 31 so fast. Because when I bought this was a positive run. But this was actually, and this is one of those things that I want to, that I kind of warn you about. This is the third positive delta, right? When you get like 3 or 4 of them in a row, buying the fourth or buying the fifth green one, you're a lot of times buying the peak. You're buying the peak, right? And that's a key thing you want to be, wary of. Remember, I told you I didn't want to be buying. This was already the third or the fourth session high. This case, we had a sell-off, and the thing came back up, and I got we got lucky. Great, but this could have been a trade where I could have just simply gotten flushed very quickly, because it got flushed for 40 and came back up. I don't know what happened. Somebody must have just swamped the sellers here, but they were it was all temporary, just temporary, and ultimately what you're seeing on the charts right now is that volume is generally positive and price keeps making fresh highs. And as long as that's true, your only position should be flat because you're looking for a reversal, or long because you're looking for continuation, if you have those two variables. Now, what's happening now is price comes off the highs and deltas turn negative. So now you really don't have any legitimate reason to want to be long this thing, right? What this does is it really keeps you flat for most of the bullshit trades, right? And keeps you in when the trade has really strong probability of continuity, or reversal. Either reversal, because a reversal trade for me right now would be a red dot, red slope, red delta. That's where I would want to be. Until I get that, I don't have a reversal trade. But so long as I'm in sync with those three things, I just keep making those scalps, And honestly, they pop up every 10 minutes, right? Sometimes they pop up every 2 or 3 minutes when you get a strong run. But generally, the tone of the market for what we were looking for, from the scalper's point of view, is going to change itself. Unless we're in a super, super dead zone like this, is going to give us opportunities every 10 minutes. So there's plenty of opportunity here to make trades. Check the footprint for a big sell order on this move. Okay, so here's what's going on right now. It's kind of interesting. So deltas are like 2,000. It's a big sell order. Price is negative. Dot is this. but the slope is not there yet. Now the slope turns red. Everything is my way. I have I have 4,000 deltas. This is really, really a lot of deltas, a lot of selling pressure. So how would I trade this? Let me show you. I'm going to go to the 55 account, because this is where if you get a big move, you need to be intelligent about it. I'm going to go 1 and 1, meaning I'm going to take my first trade. If this holds, and by the way, it's got to hold right now. My price signal is still not there, but I'm going to go to the 55s. Okay. Short here, and I got it just got done. Never mind. I didn't have to work for it. It was just another 5 points. But what I was going to say is, if this thing retraced against me, I was going to go 10 up and average in. But in this case, again, you see the momentum. If all we're doing is trading momentum, but we added one beautiful element, which is the volume momentum. If you look at the volume momentum, look at the volume momentum, look at the delta over here when we were shorting. It's 5,000 fucking deltas, right? That's a lot of sells. Now, how much more they go on the continuity side, we don't know. But that's a lot of sellers came in. We're happy to go with price and volume sellers, right? We're happy to just continue this stuff. And that's what my job is, just to knock them in, right? Granted, right now, I'm trading. Markets are very, very tight, so I'm trading very, very small targets. But you can certainly trade at a $10 target here easily, 10 point target. But you get the idea, right? It's a free indicator. It's sitting here on TradingView, and it just turbocharges our price indicator. When it confirms our price indicator, we have tremendous amount of confidence that it's going to work. It doesn't mean it's going to work all the time, but it's definitely going to work most of the time when it confirms our price indicator. So we're always leading with our price indicator, and then we're looking at the volume to kind of confirm, are the deltas in our favor in the size that we want, right? So, and very often, if you're trading, like I said, if you're a much better trader than I am, and you're not just scalping, you're trading for turns. This is a turn trade. You got in here under massive delta reversal. This is your let me just get rid of the dots. This dot is your natural stop right above here, right? So if you're swing trading, you're short 36s, stop 200s. Your first target may be about about 100, right? Like sort of even, right? And then depending on how you want to trade it, you can still hold a stop here, or you could try to trail it down. But can this thing come back down to 25.40? Of course. Equities do this V shape all the time, and with the delta as your secondary confirm, you were able to just totally kill this turn trade. I love trading the turn trade. Now, when you have the delta at your side, you're generally trading the turn trade correctly. Very often, when you're trading a turn trade on price alone, you will get clipped. But if you're doing it on volume and price, you generally have a better, much better entry. So it's kind of cool, right? Definitely gives you more ammunition. It definitely gives you better entries. Yeah, Wallace says he started being a reversal trader, and I think it's the worst kind of trader to start. You're right. The point is, who are you as personality? I will never be vegan, even though that may be a better way of eating. You got to know who you are. You got to know what you do. You got to do it the best possible way. If you're going to be a reversal trader, you better be a good one. And this is one of the ways that being a reversal trader. I actually think I'm going to make a video where I'm going to make the argument that I think everybody thinks trend is the better way, and it certainly has a lot of merits. And I definitely like to trade momentum too, but I actually think reversal is a much more precise risk control measure if you know how to trade reversal properly. Anyways, back up to reverse the trend. Are we reversal back to trend? Let's see. White dot. Do I have positive deltas? Actually, I do. I have like 1,500 positive deltas here on this trade. but I don't have a green slope. And I like my slopes and my dots to all align. So like right now, this is a spec trade. And by the way, the deltas are actually not bad. The deltas keep staying above 1,000 on the positive side. So this is if you wanted to take this trade to the upside with this particular stop, it's not the worst idea in the world. You're with trend. It's not the worst idea of the world. If you want me to do this, I'll do it with you, just guys. On the, let's say we'll do it in my let's do it in the funded in the demo account in the 71. I call it a demo account, but it's actually my funded account. So let's do this. Where are the deltas? The deltas actually went underneath 1,000, so not great, not worth it. I'm not pulling the trigger on this. Let's wait for the next one. If I get positive deltas on this candle, we're going to go in my eval account, better known as my demo account, right? I guess that's a great way of looking at it. Your eval is your demo, your funded is your real. I think that's a right way of thinking about it, right? We can trade against that. So so deltas remain positive, muted but positive, not bad. We're going to try and trade this on a reversal basis with this particular stop. Now, this is going to be stop or die type of situation, and I'm going to try and resolve it on a average in basis. But this is going to go into my demo account because I really don't have any legitimate reason to want to get long here. So wait, why is this not showing it up? I'm in 71. Oh, damn it! I'm sorry, guys. I have. Okay, let's do this one more time because now it's in my demo. I'm going to do this. Let's do this. I'm going to buy this. I'm actually made money in this trade. Why is this not showing on the things? Oh, because I'm over here. I'm like, where am I? Okay, I'm over here. Oh, this is really, really horrible. So we want to be underneath here, right? And I want to be a second entry. I'm going to average myself in. I'm going to give myself this sales exit out. And this is my stop. This is the only way I would have done this trade, even though it was a shitty trade. It was actually because the slope just really didn't confirm anything. But as I said to you, if you get a wide trade like this, you have to do half size with a midpoint average in, and then hope that you can survive the stop. So we'll see if this trade survives the stop. That's my sort of like that's the tactical approach to trying to get this trade to work. But as you can see, it was fair to Midland on the deltas, fair to Midland on certainly on no signal on the slopes. This was a weak buy signal. Given where I was and what I needed to do, this is basically making lemonade out of lemons, right? I had a lemon trade, I knew it was going to be a shitty trade, but the only way to manage this kind of a shitty trade is to get smallest half size and average in, average out. Right now, we're still dicking around. As a matter of fact, let's stay in my demo account, which actually made money. Wow, like nice. That was actually a $54 trade. Good for me, because it was a big wide move, only on two micros. And let's see if if the price action gives us anything to chew on. We're still positive trend. We're still trying to inch our way positive price. Slopes are still negative. Deltas are switching between negative and positive. So there's nothing definitive, but we're waiting, and let's wait for when things align. Volume delta 1. Okay. My key thing is you guys got to tell me how to set up I need the actual delta value. I don't care about the gross volume. I mean, I do care about it, but that's not what I want. I want the delta reading, not the gross volume on that indicator. Is it volume? Let's go to indicators. While this is dicking around finding stuff, we want to do volume. Oh, sorry. Is this the one I'm looking at? Volume delta candles. volume delta by this guy. Which one do I want to pick, guys? Which by Spaceman BTC? Tell me which one we should be looking at, so everybody in the room can. There's a lot of delta. Jesus, there's a tremendous amount of delta indicators. Which one am I picking? Volume delta BTC. All right, let's try this one. Oh, this one may be. Oh, maybe this one. This one is what we want. And this is positive, negative. This is just telling me positive, negative. So this is just sort of net positive. Yeah. Shit. I still. How do I? Is there any way to configure these fucking things or no? Settings. Okay. Mode singular split. Okay. That's a split mode. EB, I'm in live. I gotta call you back. Bye. Delta. Oh, delta. Okay, maybe this is showing me delta. Okay. So, okay, this is showing me positive delta, right? Okay, so this is actually kind of cool. Yeah, this is positive delta. We should go long this thing. This all go long. Let's go long. All right, we're gonna long this. Stop is underneath here. If this comes back against me, I'm gonna try again, do the same thing again. Oh, I'm too late. I'm not focused. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna buy this again. Average in, come back here. This thing is not gonna work for me. It looks like we're gonna just reverse. I'm gonna put my stop over here. If I get stopped, this was a fake out move. So that happens, and that's a good example where everything lies to you. The price lied, the slope lied, the candle lied, and that happens. You will get, you will fall into a trap. The point is, the traps are pretty rare. They're pretty rare in terms of structure. They're not that common. This kind of a big reversal move, that's a very, very rare trap. I'm still holding underneath here. Almost certain I'm going to get stopped out here, right? So it is what it is. I'm actually going to exit myself out. Oh, I actually made some money. I'm surprised I actually made some money. But it doesn't matter. I mean, this was a bad trade. I got myself a little bit lucky to get out of it. They tested my lows, that brought it back up. The point is, you're not going to. Let me just make sure that it's 722. I guess it's showing me positive deltas, right? So it's kind of sort of like negative delta, positive deltas. Here's 946, 939. Yeah, I guess it's 0.78. Yeah, okay. That is showing us deltas on the bottom here properly. So you guys, if you want to make it easy on yourselves, this is kind of cool. I still like looking actually at the secondary chart, but that's your own personal preferences. It's not a bad idea to have this both, with the volume delta on the bottom and this on the top. It certainly makes it easier for you guys to see what I'm looking at and what I'm doing. But here was the point. We came in, it gave us a lie, it totally flipped us around. We managed to survive the flip only because we averaged in, and flipped out. If this thing goes higher, great. If it does, we can come back into it, right? We can always come back into the trade, to make it viable. But there's no reason to have tried to have held here when we got totally screwed here. So the delta is positive. We're gonna go long here, right? And boom, 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 boom. And now I'm gonna try and get 20 points out of this thing. And there we go, almost 20 points. So we squeezed out, we get out, we scalped out. But you see how burst of volume, burst of price, burst of dots, all of those bursts come together. You have a quick scalp to the upside. That's all you try and do. That actually would have been a 2x size. That would have been a high confidence trade. I would have done 2x size trade on that. So you literally can do this as I'm doing it with you guys every 5-10 minutes. I literally, this is my P&L since I started with you guys. I just, where is this thing? Come on. I'm trying to show this to you guys. Oh, I wonder why it's not showing. Oh, here it is. You see this? All greens, all greens, all greens, all greens. And that's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm going to do on the moves. Now we're going to go session highs. This is exactly what I want. Deltas are really, really huge to the upside. We love taking out session highs. I actually want to do this in my 57 account. 27 seconds left. Let's see if this is gonna work. 57 account. Is it gonna hold? Eight, 9 seconds left. Delta's still pretty positive. Done and done. Now I'm just scalping for 5, but I could have been scalping for 10. Again, my job is to just win. 20, 30 wins, in a couple of hours, I'm good to go. Small wins, bring in runs win games, to use a baseball analogy after the Super Bowl. By the way, how fucking boring was the Super Bowl? Jesus Christ. That had to be like one of the worst games in a long, long time, right? Who watched the Super Bowl? Anyways, it was a Christopher. Christopher, thank you so much for showing everybody the volume delta space. This is volume delta spaceman BTC. That's the name of the indicator, right? That's the name of it, right? And it's not and the way you would configure it is you right click on it, you go into settings, and not this one. You cancel. Right click over here, go into settings. How did I configure this, guys? What did I just do? I had it. What the hell what was I doing with this indicator that I got this right? Settings. How did I configure this indicator, guys? That we got it, that I did this right. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's over here. I'm sorry. Go to volume data spaceman right over here. This settings, right over here, right in here, and I set it. The mode is delta, right? I want delta because what I'm looking for is the differences. I'm looking for positive or negative flow difference. So now, by the way, now we have negative delta. We have a purple dot. When would I want to trade a reversal on this? When I have red or purple dot, red slope, negative delta, right? Then I'll trade reversals on this if I want to. And you can see that I can trade continuity or reversals, regardless of how I want to do it. Our job is not to sell or buy. Our job is to be right, right? Yeah, I got it. Thanks, Christopher. So everybody sees this. We're going to go over here, hover over here to the settings, and I have it set to delta. That's the mode that I wanted it. Positive delta, positive move. We're actually, this is still a buy. It's still a buy mode right now. Fresh session highs. But you see how you need the dots, and the delta. This is a double D. It's a double D. We need to go to make a new song. We're gonna call it a double D. We need the delta and the dots to align to the double D. Make a little rap on a double D. That's what we need. And when we have a double D, then we have a trade. We don't have a double D, we don't have a trade. That's actually a great way, an easy way to think about this, right? All right, my friends. Okay, everybody, Apex accounts, 80% off. Go nail them. We're going to trade retail tomorrow. So 8 o'clock in the morning, come join me. We're going to do the same thing on Wednesday for non-farm payrolls. Everybody enjoy. And what else do I want to tell you? Any other questions before the end of the day? I gotta run because, of course, my son is bothering me and I got to go deal with him. But really good. I literally all green today, guys. I literally hit all greens. Okay, you can hate me all you want for doing bullshit trades with negative risk reward, but you really can't argue the fact that I did all greens for you, right? I brought them all. The slope parameter is built into my indicator. It's a if you guys want the setup, you got to get the coaching. Yeah, the only way you're going to get the indicator is through my coaching. So you can absolutely sign up over here. You get 6 months of coaching, and you can have a great time. Thank you, Saber. Okay, the other thing is Asia session. We're going to trade gold. Asia session Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The new schedule 7 to 8:30. Think Markets. We're going to trade with our friends at Think for gold. We can't use the volume delta, but we're going to use some other tricks to make that happen. All right, guys. Everybody enjoy. Again, is this a turn trade? No. Why? The slope is not red yet. It's not red. There's no double D's here. We need the slope. We need the dots. We need the deltas to make it a turn trade. So stay patient. It will be a turn trade soon, and it'll be a good one. Have a great time banging away, guys. I will see everybody tonight or tomorrow, depending on what you guys want to do. Everybody enjoy your day. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.